Liebe Gäste der Movie Days, um 13 Uhr startet im Erdgeschoss im Fanbereich das WXW Wrestling. Und um 13 Uhr findet in der Dark Zone die From Dusk Till Dawn Show statt. Viel Spaß!
Danke. Okay. So, können wir anfangen? Any questions?
Could be some questions. Q&A.
It's a Q&A.
Anybody? I can just talk if you want. Yes.
How did you like working on Under Siege?
Under Siege. Whew, that's a good question. It was a long shoot. It was about 3.5 months. We were in Mobile, Alabama, just on the cusp of summer, so it was really hot. And I think there were probably 3 or 4 women out of a cast of about 2,000. Sorry, I cannot hear myself. Out of a cast of about 3,000 or 4,000 men on this big set, and it was very challenging. It was very challenging. It was a lot of fun, but it was really challenging. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Yes.
Eleniak, what is your most striking memory to the time in Baywatch?
Which memory most?
The most striking. The most
Striking memory.
impressive.
You know, that's difficult because, let's see, I did it for 2 seasons. One season when it was on NBC and before it was syndicated, and was more conservative. And then I think the best memory I have is the people. Not just the cast, but the crew. It was like a family. You know, it was really a lot of good people. And also, too, with the lifeguards, it's much like with firemen or policemen, or it's sort of like for lack of a better way to say it, like a brotherhood. You know, there's a lot of joking, but a lot of camaraderie, but a lot of caring, like a family. So, because the creator is a real lifeguard, Greg Bonin, a lot of the people that we worked with were real lifeguards, and it was just a really warm experience. I do have one memory, I will tell you. Before, the very first year, see, when we first shot Baywatch, the very first season, we shot it in the wintertime. It was not hot and sunny. They used huge lights to make it look sunny. They sprayed us with water to make us look sweaty, and it was freezing. And I remember one day, Billy Warlock and I were shooting in the water, and I think it was the record coldest day of the year, and our lips were so blue and so visibly freezing that they couldn't use the footage. And it was that day that I think they decided maybe we should get some kind of an indoor tank or facility to help with some close-up water work, you know? So that's something I'll never forget.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Anybody else? Yes.
Have you any memories about shooting E.T.?
E.T.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Let's see, I was 12, and it was very secretive. As a matter of fact, when we did the movie, they told us a different name. This is actually a fun little fact if you see the movie again. We were told the name of the movie was called A Boy's Life. And they were very, very vague about what the movie was. A boy and an alien. Okay? So I didn't know anything. I was 12. You know, Steven Spielberg was not Steven Spielberg. You know, to a 12-year-old, he was a nice man. And, you know, it was really fun. But Henry Thomas, who was 10, he was in a girl haters club. So, you know, which is kind of age appropriate at that time. So I remember when we had to do the kiss, I was so nervous and so freaked out that I was crying. And I know Steven had to come and talk with me and then go and talk with Henry. And he closed the set so we could shoot that, the kissing scene. But back to what I was saying, A Boy's Life. If you watch the movie, I believe in the very beginning of the movie is a shot of one of the kids on the bicycle riding past a marquee. And on the big marquee for the movie theater says A Boy's Life. And so that's the working title that he told some of us. It was just kind of, he does those fun little weird things.
Thank you.
Yes. To come back to the Baywatch.
Yeah.
So, how was the work with David Hasselhoff?
Was so fun. David was always he's a really bigger than life personality, you know, and you know that can have pros and cons. You know, we've all seen, and I'm always asked about the personal aspect of things. I can just tell you, so professional, huge practical joke. Oh, so much fun. You know, it would always be if you had a moment where you needed to be crying or very dramatic, that he would be behind the camera making faces at you and, you know, trying to get you to bust up while you're supposed to be very focused, you know.
Liebe Movie Days Besucher und an alle Star Wars Begeisterten, um 12:40 Uhr findet das Q&A mit Dave Cruz statt. Außerdem startet um 12:40 Uhr das Fotoshoot im Movie Days Bereich mit Ladislav Beran. Viel Spaß damit!
You played a role in the Tales of the Crypt series.
Yes.
Bordello of Blood.
Yes.
It was fun to see. I like the Tales of the Crypt series.
I did
but,
too.
Yeah. I like very many of Hollywood stars played in one series. But what it's like for you? What?
To do the film?
Yes. Especially at the end, the gore scenes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a big element of that film, unfortunately, because it was so fun, that got cut from the movie. But the character, Catherine Bordeaux, I think, she was supposed to be, she was like a Bible thumper, for lack of a better way to say it, you know, a church lady. But the history of that character is she was supposed to be an ex-porn star named Chubby O'Toole. It was about 500 pounds. And we did prosthetics, we did the makeup. I have photos, I should try and find them, of me in this makeup. Huge woman, big. And it was so fun. And there was a poster, and in the film, Dennis Miller's character used to like the character of Chubby O'Toole. So when he meets Catherine and he sees her, he says, "I think I know you from somewhere." And there was a poster in the big theater where they shoot a scene together of Chubby O'Toole, which she notices and she gets very nervous. So there were a lot of really cool aspects that unfortunately didn't come to fruition, you know, up on the screen. But working with Dennis Miller was such a blast. And also hard, because he is so funny. Again, another one of those moments where, you know, I would sometimes have to say, "Stop it! Just stop making me laugh and be focused, you know, we have to work." Because he's so funny all the time. But I'm a huge horror fan. I love that whole genre. And I too, was a big Tales of the Crypt fan. So I was thrilled to do that movie. Thrilled.
I only saw the cut edition, the answer that you gave me, that the main character you played was a porn star.
Ex-porn star, we never saw any of it, but we just had, for the sake of that element in the movie, we shot a poster of this big woman in the big prosthetics, about 450 pounds.
But there was no scene in the series of that shots you made.
Yeah, no, completely separate.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I don't think, did I see the first one? Did you see the first one? The first Tales from the Crypt movie, because they made two, and Bordello of Blood was the second one.
Ah.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the first one. But they made two features after the series, and then that was it. I wish they would do more. Just, I would watch them. I love them. Anybody else? No one? Okay. Yes.
How was it to work with Steve Seagal?
I get asked that question a lot. Steven, you know, he's another very big personality. And when I worked with Steven, that was, how many years ago? 1980s? I don't remember. Or maybe no, early 90s. It was a very long time ago. He's a big entourage around him all the time. You know, a lot of people that are always with him. So he's very different with women, very different with stuntmen, very different with other actors. You know, it really depended. He was professional, you know, he showed up, he did his work depending on his mood, whether it would be more lighthearted and some joking or just very serious and focused, and that was pretty much my experience. There wasn't a whole lot of let's go hang out and have a Coke after work, you know, but he showed up and did his thing. That was, I didn't have to fight him, so that was good. Yes?
How do you like Germany and especially Mühlheim, Angela?
And especially,
Mühlheim.
I wish I had more time here. Because for me, you know, even like back home, when I say, oh, where are you off to? I'm going to Germany. Oh, it's so exciting. But I don't get to be here. You know, I fly in, I do the show, and then I leave Monday morning. So literally, I'm coming to the hotel and to meet all of you guys, which is so much fun for me. I love. In my 20s, actually, Billy Warlock and I, when we were dating, we went to London. He did a film, and we went to London to promote his movie. And then we had planned to do a European trip, which got cut a little bit short. But we did go to Stuttgart. I think just in an overnight. We did an overnight trip. We ended up going to Grindelwald. We kind of did a little bit of Amsterdam, a little kind of, you know, flying around and going, but not a lot of time here. And I hope to come back and really bring my daughter and spend some time.
We hope so too.
Thank you.
What was your biggest mistake as an actor? I mean, did you get an offer for a good movie? You said no, but in the end, it turned out to be a big mistake.
You know, and I know probably every actor, I'm sure, has a story. But if I told you, I might be too embarrassed to tell you some of the opportunities that have come. Sure. Yeah, I mean, we've all got them. For me, you know, there were opportunities that were offers, but then I think for me my biggest mistakes weren't so much offers turned down as opportunities to meet on films turned down, auditions, you know, that had come up. Oh, I mean, you know, when I think, I beat myself
Liebe
up.
Besucher der Movie Days,
I beat myself
die
up
dunkle
with
Seite der
plenty.
Macht ist mit euch. Um 12:40 Uhr, also in ein paar Minuten, findet das Q&A von Dave Cruz im Saal 1 statt. Viel Spaß!
What I've come to realize is I stopped beating myself up because I think I know for myself, this is true for all of us, you know, we are ready to do what we're ready to do when we are ready and not before. And I think that for me there was a lot of fear, but I know a lot of fear early on in my career. So when some of the opportunities came up, I was just
Liebe
too
Besucher der
afraid.
Movie Days, um 12:40 Uhr findet das Fotoshoot im Movie Days Bereich statt mit Ladislav Beran. Viel Spaß!
I can tell you one of them was to go and meet Martin Scorsese for Casino, and I didn't go. Another one was to read with Al Pacino for, Penelope Ann Miller did the role. Oh, it's escaping me now. Brian De Palma directed it. It was a big film, but you know, there were things like that. But unfortunately, what's perceived is, who does she think she is? For me, what was really going on is I was terrified, and I didn't feel good enough, so I didn't go. It probably would have been better to just say that,
Liebe
you
Besucher der
know,
Movie
'cause
Days,
it's always
um 13 Uhr findet die BXW Wrestling Show im Fanbereich im Erdgeschoss statt. Um 13 Uhr startet auch die From Dusk Till Dawn Show in the Dark Zone. Viel Spaß!
Okay, last question, anybody? Yes?
You did drama, you did action, you did horror. How was it to work on the comedy of the Beverly Hills?
My favorite. I'm glad you asked that question. That out of everything, I'm 42, started working when I was 10. Out of all of the projects, that is by far my favorite. It was absolutely amazing. The cast on that film, I was in awe. I would just come to work every day wide-eyed and like a sponge, you know, just try and take something from everybody, and everything about that film was phenomenal. It was hard work. You know, there were a lot of things that went into that movie that nobody would have thought of. We actually worked with a dialect coach who I think just passed, and what a wonderful man, Robert Easton, to get just the right accent, the twang. It was not just simply a little like Texas thing. It was really specific from the Ozarks, the right little area, the little village. I mean, it was really hard work, and we worked for about 8 weeks getting the dialect correct. So much went into that movie, and it was just so fun and fulfilling, and everything about it I loved. I loved animals. I was probably attacked by every animal on that movie, by the way. By a raccoon, by a deer, I have funny animal stories. I wish we didn't have to end it now from that movie, but it was absolutely a joy. Yeah.
Okay. Danke.
Okay, thank you.